You know what I hate more than games in Poland costing 500 zloty each now? I hate communities which are stupider than an air fryer. And you've already read the title and saw the thumbnail. I'm talking about the Tower Defense Simulator community that's for the longest time thrown around a few buzzwords like they're fresh bread or something. I won't waste time here, so I'll just get into the topic. I don't know what is it with Roblox communities and mistaking free-to-play games with pay-to-win games. Seriously, how many times have I seen that somebody in my live stream chat, or hell, even some of my friends say that this game is pay-to-win? And I can't see why. I tried understanding people's logic when they try to back up their claim with statements like, Engineer and Gatling Gun have expensive game passes, or golden skins are pay-to-win. Now to explain what the term pay-to-win means in the most cock-and-ball torture language, it's nothing else but giving the player an advantage when they buy something. The only real excuse I could understand when somebody says that pre-nerf Swarmer was pay-to-win, since it gave an unfair advantage to the people who owned it legitimately and to those who bought it. Other than that, I don't really think this game is anything near pay-to-win. Each tower that's in the end game can be replaced by towers that players can get in the first few hours of their playthrough. Every single mode in the game is not only balanced around the end game towers, but they're also balanced around their no special towers counterparts. If people were smart enough, they would probably realize that you can cheese hardcore on mostly any map except of insane maps with Ace Pilot, Electroshocker, and Freezer. More people would probably say that hardcore needs to be buffed in the rework to put up a challenge against the people who have the endgame towers and those who don't. If I had to classify this game, you would never hear me say that this game is pay to win. I would probably say that it's a cash grab instead, since the developers are trying so hard to keep the players in the game just so they can get money. If I have to be honest, players calling this game greedy has one truth to it, but I can't really find a reason to defend the developers here. Why I'm talking about the developers being greedy is because of one thing, and that's the entire fiasco that happened with the new 4 billion milestone code that we got. While I honestly couldn't give less of a shit about it, people straight up harassed the developers for not giving them a deluxe crate for the 4 billion milestone. I'm sorry, this is something you can harass people over, for fuck's sake? Just because you didn't get some kind of better reward for a milestone? Is that how we celebrate the developers reaching 4 billion visits? Genuinely, this community has pissed me off so many times, but for some to be this immature, it's actually somewhat worrying. This feels like the situation Wuthering Waves had when they first announced the first anniversary rewards. Players also were really mad at developers, which kind of confused me on why, since I couldn't bring myself to care about some kind of anniversary for a game that I play for fun. This is the same situation with Tower Defense Simulator, where while it's cool to see the developers reach a milestone and reward their community for it, I could not care less about it. And I think that other players should probably act the same, since it's a note for the developers that their game is getting more traction and more people have played it. I said that the community had some kind of point here, and that's because I wanted to mention the obligatory admin Game Pass, where it's really overpriced for the value it gives you. And in the not so finished state it's in right now, I think this Game Pass should cost more or less 2,500 Robux at least, and nowhere near 8,000 Robux. I still question how the developers thought it was a justified idea to publish this Game Pass without really putting too many features into it. Not only that, they decided to make the Game Pass $70 or $80, I don't even know at this point, which, mind you, is a lot of money for a Roblox Game Pass. The term overpowered means absolutely nothing to the tower defense simulator community. At least, not anymore. I really don't understand why people use this term so much. Especially some content creators. Explaining this term is so easy. It's just something that has more power than it should have. Now, if we look into the game's modern era for more than 5 seconds, there are only a few instances of towers being overpowered, and that's Brawler on launch, Pursuit on rework, Gatling Gun on launch, Biologist on launch, Golden Cowboy after the rework, and Swarmer after the rework. There's probably a few more instances if you went back into some of the other eras that TDS has been through, but these are from the modern era that are the most notable. To my knowledge, this term was popularized by none other than the mass uploads back when Gatling Gun released, and solo hardcore being very popular for content farms. Namely, people such as 5 Souls, Krasrex, and Drift, and a few other content farms decided to popularize this term. I can understand why content farms did this a while back, since it was a pretty easy way of getting yourself into the content creator program, since TDS developers were not as strict on what content on their game is allowed. But holy shit, this bothers me so much that people will call absolutely anything overpowered for absolutely no reason. And the last term that I'm going to talk about is going to be Powercreep. This has to be one of the bigger things that the TDS community continues to misinterpret, and I do not understand why. Is it that hard to understand that the Tower Defense Simulator balancers and QA team have somewhat fixed the problem? And I say somewhat since we have that one singular meta that the entire game is based around, but if we look over that, there isn't really much power creep over here. All towers have a replacement in the game, just as I mentioned within the case of Pay to Win. Towers such as Mortar can be replaced with Rocketeer, towers such as Pursuit can be replaced with Ranger and Turret. Even some golden towers such as Golden Cowboy can be replaced with Farm or by playing Ecoless, which is only a case in solo matches, but whatever. All event towers can also be replaced. Cryomancer and Frost Blaster can be replaced with Pyromancer, Freezer, and Electroshocker. Gladiator can be replaced with Shotgunner, Ace Bala, and basically any early game tower. Do I need to go on? There is not much to prove here. Really. The game does not suffer from power creep except, you know, that one meta which the balancers and QA team are trying to fix, but they are having a really hard time because the developers just continue to add towers with stun immunity and crowd control. But other than that, there really isn't any power creep, and I think I proved my point. I cannot really say all that much when it comes to people overusing these terms. Except maybe educating the few thousand children on what these terms actually mean. Obviously, this doesn't only account to TDS, but also games like Forsaken, where terms such as pay to win or pay to lose get tossed around loosely, when really there's no paying to win in that game either. It's just cosmetics that you can really buy except the killers. Some look cooler, some don't, some OSTs make you bang your head harder, and some just make you fall asleep. There's not much to say. Once again, this is mostly going to be the content creator's fault, since content creators absolutely love making titles sound as clickbaity as possible. Okay, anyway, since this video is super long and I should not waste any more of your time, I'm going to see the line. This was your host, VirusDetected, now clocking off.